so excited. I'm excited to be here. My name is Dawn Fields. This is my very first episode, season one, episode one of Your Every Prayer Answered. I'm so excited you're here to give yourself a round of applause. So happy that you are here today. Let me tell you, this channel is all about how to pray effectively so you can get all your prayers answered. The name of the show is Your Every Prayer Answered, is because that's exactly what we're going to teach you, how to get each and every one of your prayers answered. Because most people don't even know how to pray. Most people pray and they never get their prayers answered because generally they don't know how to pray. But nobody's teaching you how to pray. They don't teach you how to pray in church. There's no place to go to learn how to pray effectively. So I figure that's going to be my job. I'm going to teach you how to pray effectively so you can get all your prayers answered. Now, this right here is just going to be 5 tips on how to effectively pray. I'm going to give you share with you 5 tips on how you can effectively pray. Because see, most time people, this is how most people pray. They get on their hands and knees and they be like, oh, Lord, I need $1,000, please. Oh, I need $1,000, please. Please, can I get $1,000? Whatever it is that they want. They beg God. They don't really pray. They just be begging God over and over and over again, and they keep repeating the same prayer over and over again as if He has no idea what it is that you want. First of all, He knows what you want before you even ask. So it's not even necessary that you keep asking. You can ask once and that's it, because that's how it works. You ask once and you're supposed to believe. That's what the Bible says. When you pray, believe that you received when you asked. So if you believe that you received when you asked, why you keep asking? Because if I receive something already, I'm not going to keep asking for it over and over again. If I keep asking for it over and over again, that means I didn't believe that I received it. So my prayers are never going to be answered because I don't believe that I received what I asked for when I asked. See, I want to keep this. I see a lot of times that the world is removed the creator out of the process on what they call manifesting. Manifesting. That's like a new age type of thing that they're doing, like the law of attraction from before. These are laws, but these are laws that's created by the creator, and they are removing him from the process. And I'm just here to put them back in the process. Let them know that these things are biblical. They're not things that somebody just stumbled across. They're biblical. They're in the Bible, and they're things that you should understand how to do. Now, let me give it a little clear. Let me give a little house rules on how I roll. First of all, you might hear me saying Christian or believer. I probably said believer more than Christian because me, myself, I don't call myself a Christian. I kind of follow the Bible. The Bible doesn't really talk about Christians. Jesus calls us to be disciples. So that's what I consider myself, a disciple, not so much as a Christian. I don't really follow man-made traditions. Now, I'm not saying anything is wrong with people call themselves Christians. If that's your desire, then so be it. Call yourself a Christian. But personally, I follow the Bible, which is we are called to become disciples of the word, not Christians, not Christianity. I am a follower of Christ, but I don't call myself a Christian. I think that's a man-made term and not really derived out of the Bible. We are called to become disciples of the word. So that's what I call myself, a disciple. Secondly, if I refer to the Christ or the Messiah, I don't call him Jesus. I call him Yahushua, but I will probably refer to him sometime as Jesus because I know most people call him by his translated or transliterated name, which is Jesus. I personally believe that the name above all names should not have been transliterated into another language. I think it should have just stayed the same, but that's my personal opinion. So you're entitled to your own personal opinion, and so I just want to get some ground rules. So when you hear me say it, that's what you may hear me say. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is 5 steps on how to pray effectively. Everybody, it's really important that you learn how to pray effectively. I didn't know how to pray effectively. Let me tell you, I just started really studying it about 5 years ago when my mother passed away. I don't know if you heard me tell the story, but when was my mother was diagnosed with cancer. My mother used to work at a feeding program at the church. That was pretty much her only job for a long time. She had retired when she was like 50 something. And so she started working at a feeding program at the church. And every day she would get up and she would go to this feeding program at the church. But one day she was lifting something out of the oven. I think it was, I don't know, something that was heavy. And she felt a pulling in her stomach. So she didn't want to go to the doctors or hospital because we had a family reunion that weekend. And she thought if she went to the hospital or the doctors, if she went to the doctors, they might put her in the hospital because she was having a lot of pain. And she didn't want to miss the family reunion. So we had the family reunion. And then when she came back that Monday, whatever that weekend after it was over, she went to the doctor, and the doctor did put her in the hospital because she had pulled something in her stomach and there was fluid that was coming into her stomach. So they kept her in the hospital. And while she was in the hospital, one of the doctors came to her later on and told her, like, she was there maybe 3 days. And the doctor came and told her that they found cancer in her. So I remember when she told us, I think she told my father first, and then she told me and my sister. And then, because we were there, we had went to the hospital to visit her, so she had told us then. And then she ended up kind of going back and forth to the hospital. She got a second opinion, and they did say that she had cancer. She started going through chemotherapy, and then she was well. Um, and she was probably well for about a year. But when you have cancer, they make you continuously be checked out. So she went back to be checked out. And when they checked out again, she had cancer again. I got to come back. So this time when it came back, they put her in the hospital, and then she had fluid in her stomach again. So they was draining out the fluid, and they took this thing and they put this some kind of tool down her throat. I guess to see, or I don't know what it was for, but it was something that they put down her throat. And then when they took it out, they scratched her esophagus. So she was never able to pretty much eat or drink again after they did this. So she when she came home, she kept complaining about her throat. And every time she ate or drank something, she would throw it back up. So in a matter of, I don't know, quick period of time, she started rapidly losing weight. So and she was getting dehydrated because she couldn't even keep water down. So one of her girlfriends came by the house, and her girlfriend happened to be a nurse, and she like was pulling her skin, and she was like, you know what, I think you're really dehydrated. You should go to the hospital. And my father was like, no, I don't think she should go to the hospital. Like, he didn't want to go to the hospital. So she was like, her girlfriend was like, well, I think she should go. So my father said, well, I'm not taking her. Because he said, I don't know, I just got a bad vibe about her going to the hospital. So when the girlfriend took her to the hospital, she actually got way worse in the hospital than if she would have just stayed home. Like, she rapidly declined, and then they sent her home on hospice. Like, it was just the craziest thing. Like, they didn't do anything to fix her throat. They just, whatever they did, they made it worse. And she couldn't hold anything now. Like, the second she ate, she threw up. And then they just said, oh, well, it's nothing we can do. We just send her home on hospice. So I started becoming a praying fool at that point. I just started saying, well, my mother's going to recover from this. I started trying to get her to listen to these positive affirmations and all this other stuff. She was just kind of laying there. She couldn't eat. She went from 180 pounds down to 80 pounds in less than a month. Like, she was, excuse me, she was always a thick woman, but she went down from 180 to 80 pounds. And then she wasn't doing anything. She just was kind of laying there. So she ended up, the day, it was my birthday. I remember on my birthday, she didn't say hi, anything to me, happy birthday to me, anything on my birthday. She just kind of was laying around. She was looking spaced out, really like out of here. And then what we do, a tradition in our house is when a person's birthday, we bake a cake. And then we all sing happy birthday. Because at this point I moved back home so I could take care of her. So I got a cake, and we brought the cake over to her, and she was like we sing because she always sings. She never sing the regular happy birthday. She sang the Stevie Wonder happy birthday to you. Well, she was doing that happy birthday. So she was doing like this, which was the most we seen her do. She was clapping when we were singing that song. She was snapping her fingers when we were singing that song. And then she laid back down. And the next day, it was like 9 o'clock at night. My sister was changing her, was cleaning her up, changing her bed, and changing her to her pajamas. And my sister said, she asked me to help her. She said, because she said she's not really cooperating with her. So I came over there. My sister's trying to change the sheets on the bed. So I came and I picked up. She was only 80 pounds, so she was very light at this time. So I just picked her up and I put her in a wheelchair while my sister changed the bed. But when I picked her up and put her in a wheelchair, there's a couple of things that happened. One, she kind of slushed aside, and this water came out of her mouth. And then I saw her eyes. My mother had great eyes, but I seen like it was like a shade was lifted up, like somebody pulled up a shade because the color of her eye went from dark gray to light gray, and it went up like a shade. And I visually saw that when I was putting her down, but I didn't think anything of it really at that particular time. I didn't. My sister changed the sheet, and then when she finished, she called me back and asked me could I put her back in the bed. So I went to pick her up, and this time she felt like she weighed a ton. So I was trying to figure out what she was doing. I was actually getting mad at her. I was like, Mom, what you doing? Like, it was so easy for me to carry over here. Now, what are you doing to make yourself so heavy? That's what I'm thinking. Like, how are you making yourself heavy? Like, what are you? I got to carry over there. You too like heavy. You only weigh 80 pounds. How are you this heavy? She was really heavy at this point. So carried her over, placed her on the bed, and then my sister started cleaning her up. And then my sister was like, hey, Dawn, come here. I came back over. She said, does it look like she not breathing? Like, I don't see her breathing. It doesn't look like her chest is going up and down. So I was like, yeah, she breathing. So I go out look at her, and I'm like, she's not breathing. She's not breathing. She died. Then when I thought about it, she actually died when I put her down, when she was in my arms and I seen her eyes. That's when I realized it was at that point that she actually died. But I had been praying so much, like nonstop practically, since she came home from hospice that week. I had been praying and praying and praying and praying. And she still died. And I got angry with God. I was like, wait, you said we pray, and we believe, then, we get what we prayed for. I'm feeling a little down now. I'm just going to get a little happy. I need a little upbeat. So hold on for a second. Okay. I just don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I'm thinking about my mom, and that's a little touchy for me. So, but that's when I discovered, because I discovered I didn't really know how to pray. And praying and knowing how to pray is really important, because if I knew how to pray, I might have been able to pray my mother's illness back. If I've been able to teach my family how to pray. All of us touching and agreeing. And you can sit there and say, if it's God's will. Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. He was dead. He was dead. He wasn't just sick. He was dead. And he was able to raise him from the dead. And Jesus tells us that what he did, we can do. And even more greater things. I believe what his word says. So don't tell me that, it's just his will. I mean, you can't. People always say that when they don't get their prayers answered. They always say, it's just not his will that you get your prayer answered. That's because they don't know how to pray, and they're using it as an excuse. Praying outside of his will means you're praying for something that's a sin. That's outside of his will. Like, for example, if there's a man that I'm interested in, but he's married, he's already married to somebody, and I'm praying that God gives me this woman's husband, that's praying outside of God's will, because God's not about adultery and stuff like that. So that's praying outside of his will. That's what praying outside of his will means. Or if I'm praying and somebody died, oh, I want that house, so I'm praying that the owners of the house die so I can buy the house. That's praying outside of his will. But if I'm praying for somebody's healing, that's not praying outside of his will. So stop with the making up things. Just because your prayer wasn't answered, let's stop making up things that's not biblical and pretending that it is biblical, because it's not. That bothers me when people do that. Oh, but he always answers your prayer, but he just didn't answer that prayer because it's against his will. Or he's saying not right now. It's not how it works. It's only because you don't know how to pray effectively. So you're making up an excuse as to why it don't work for you. Now, some people get mad about this. I don't care. Click off. We don't need you around people that don't really want to know the truth about how to pray, because what Yahshua said to us was, what you pray and believe you can receive. He ain't lie. He didn't lie. He didn't give any kind of except, like, for example. He didn't say that. He said exactly what he said, and that's exactly what he meant. And just because you're not getting your prayers answered, and you want to sit and say, well, that's because he did answer it. It just means not right now, or that I'm praying against his will. If you're praying against his will, then you're not really a believer or a Christian. If you're praying against his will, you're praying in a sinful nature, then that's against his will. You're praying for something to happen that you know is not of the Most High. So that's when you're praying against his will. But anyway, so let's get back to it. So I'm going to give you today 5 tips on how to pray effectively. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen with you really quick. Oh, can I share? How do I do this? Hold on one second. Present, share screen. Yeah, I want to share screen right here. Okay. Number 1, you have to be perfectly clear on what it is that you want. Most people are not perfectly clear on what it is that they want. Like, when I was praying for my mother, I was clear on what I wanted. I wanted my mother to be well. That was direct thing of what I wanted. I wanted the cancer to be gone, and I wanted her to be well. When you pray for something, be very specific about what it is that you want. You can't just willy-nilly pray and think that God knows exactly what you want, because he's going to give you what you ask for. So it's best that you be clear about what it is that you want, because a lot of times people be upset afterwards because they prayed for something and they wasn't clear on what it is that they wanted. So be perfectly clear about what it is that you want. All right, now let's see. Number 2, get a clear picture in your mind. See, once you know what it is that you want, then you got to visualize it. Get a very clear picture of it in your mind. But what you're going to get a clear picture of is you're going to get a clear picture of it already happened, and now this is the next thing to happen right after it happens. Does that make sense? Let's say you're praying for a promotion on your job. So the second step that you're going to do is you're going to get a clear picture of what's going to happen immediately after you get that promotion. Like, you can visualize people on your job saying, "Oh, congratulations on your promotion. Oh, that's congratulations on your promotion." Everybody goes, "Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations." So say you post it on Facebook, and all the people coming in and saying, "Oh, congratulations, congratulations." So that's what you're going to get a picture of. You're going to get a picture of what it is that happens right after you get the thing that you're praying for. So as if it already happened. You're going to visualize it as clear as you could possibly visualize it. And don't just visualize it like you're watching a movie of it. You want to visualize it as if it's happening right now to you. Like, right now, when it's happening to you, you're not seeing yourself. So you're not having a vision of yourself seeing something. You're having a vision of you seeing it from your eyes as if it's happening for you. Does that make sense? Like, you're not seeing yourself like you're watching a movie. You are yourself inside that movie. So that's what you're going to get a clear picture of in your head, of what happens immediately after that situation happens. Let's say, for example, your dream is or your prayer is that you get 10 sales today. Okay. So what you're going to visualize yourself is clicking on your whatever it is that you looked into to see where your sales are, and you seeing the 10 sales right there, and you celebrate. You're saying to yourself, all right, all right, all right. Let me see if I can do this. You're saying to yourself, sale. That's what you're going to see yourself doing, getting yourself. But instead of you seeing it, you're going to be that lady in your head doing that exciting thing because you're excited. You got your first 10 sales, okay? One, you got to be perfectly clear about what you want. And number two, you're going to get a clear picture in your mind, a visualization of you already accomplished, or the minute you accomplished the thing that you did. And not just see it like a movie. You're actually experiencing it. You're actually feeling it. Okay. Let's see what's next. The next thing is feel. Number three is you're going to feel the feeling. Feelings is what determines the things that happen in our life. Feelings is utterly important when it comes to things that's happening in our life. It really is. You have to feel the feelings. Is if you're saying, oh, I want a promotion, but you're feeling like you're about to get fired, you're going to get fired. You're not going to get that promotion. If you say, I want my mother to not have cancer, but you feel like she get ready to die, then your prayer is not going to be effective. You have to have the feeling equate to what it is that you want. That's really important. I don't even know how to express it. Let's go back to this lady. See how let's go back. Faking it, you got to feel that way. You got to make yourself feel that way. You fake it until you make it, but you have to have that feeling. Step number 4 is go to sleep. Sound crazy, but go to sleep. Take that same thing that you just did, and you're going to go to sleep. Because what you're going to do is you're going to be training what we call your subconscious, but it's really not your subconscious. This is where I get angry because they remove the creator out of the situation. That is actually your spirit. You're going to be connected to your spirit, what we call subconscious, the subconscious mind. You're going to be connected to your spirit. That's this part of you that will bring about the things that you desire. It's your spirit. So you're going to go to sleep. Not actually go to sleep, but you're going to relax and get into that state where you're in between sleep and in between being awake. That's what you're going to get at. And then because you're going to have to be able to still control your dreams, control your things. So you're not going to be asleep, but you're in that subconscious make. So you're going to have that same feeling, that same picture, and you're going to keep running over into your head until you're about to fall asleep. You're going to fall asleep with that in your head. But before you fall asleep, you're going to do the 5th step is you're going to thank the Most High. You're going to just be thankful, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have to be grateful and thankful that you already received the thing that you asked, because you have to believe that you receive when you pray. So you believe that you receive it, so you're thanking Him for that thing that you receive. I thank you, Most High. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. And that is how you pray effectively. That is how you pray to get the things that you desire. If you learn how to pray this way with everything that you desire, you will get all your prayers answered. In fact, this Saturday coming up, I'm having a seminar, a summit called Your Every Prayer Answered Blueprint Summit, where me and a couple of my friends are going to get together and we're going to show you exactly how to pray to get your prayers answered each and every time. All you have to do is, let me see if I have it down here. All you have to do is go to www.youreveryprayeranswered.com and sign up for free. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is register. Go to youreveryprayeranswered.com and sign up today. Tell your friends about it too, because everybody needs to understand how to pray effectively. True, because if you don't, you're gonna have a hard way, and all this begging God to do things for you is never gonna work. Just not. Why not learn how to pray effectively so you get all your prayers answered? Well, my name is Dawn Fields. I just came to you. This is episode 1, season 1 of Your Every Prayer Answered. Go to the website right now, register. It's absolutely free. It's going to be an amazing day. We're going to be having amazing stuff for you, amazing stuff planned, and I hope to see you there. All right, I'm gonna leave now. Where's my theme music? Hold on, let me try to get this thing up. Let me find it. Oh, here you go. All right, have a good